The Holy Spirit is calling us. And we get multiple calls. I mean, I've talked about my call to the priesthood and all that, but we get calls every day from the Holy Spirit to help somebody else. I remember that old Muhammad Ali statement about that service to others is the price we pay for our room here on earth, right? And we just got to be ready to be open to helping others. So the Holy Spirit's in there because the Holy Spirit is giving us the opportunity to help others.
I would say too that sometimes we don't even fully appreciate perhaps how someone may be turning to us, in a stressful situation, or or that where we have an opportunity perhaps to help that person. Perhaps the Holy Spirit is speaking through us to that person. So often I've had the experience where I've talked with someone, perhaps I've worked with a student on something, and it seemed important, but it didn't strike me as that critically important. And I discover later in something when that person comes back around and says, that really made a difference. That was really important, or something you said has really stayed with me. And it may not even be something that I even necessarily remember saying, and yet it seemed to strike a chord in them, or to be something that they needed to hear at that moment. And so I think that's a very humbling thing, to think that perhaps we have opportunities to be Christ-like to each other at times when we're not even aware of that, and to sort of always, hopefully then, be open to that and to conduct ourselves in ways that, allow for that. So.
And part of what I think a viewer brings out is that to know someone is there for us, to know someone that loves us, is really what centers us. And to be centered, is really then be able to face the difficulties of life. But without that, it's a tremendous stress. Yeah. But there's no shortcut to that. You have to make yourself vulnerable. You have to open up in order for that love to enter. And that's sometimes very difficult to do. And I think it can create a lot of stress if we think that we're in it all alone.
Right.
Well, and it is important to understand that people, as Ann said, that people sometimes need you. I remember in the prison, they asked me to do a little invocation, which I wasn't prepared to do, so I said whatever good things came into my mind, and was sitting with some of the prisoners afterwards. I said, I hope I said the right things. And he said, one of the guys said, well, what you said was really good. But he said, it doesn't matter what you say. He said, when you come in here and that sixth set of bars slams behind you, it's your presence. It's your presence. It's the fact that someone, in their case, someone outside the wall will come in and be with those of us who are inside the wall. But we got to remember that we're all in prisons, and that we've got to be present to people. And oftentimes, by the way, when they articulate to us their stressful situation, they're not telling us the whole thing. It may be something very, very different. And we got to call on the Holy Spirit to say, what is the real problem here? Not the problem that they think they've got. What's the real problem here?